Hey guys, and welcome back. In my previous video, I showed you how to get a 100% free vehicle history report that, in my opinion, is pretty much just as good as a Carfax report. Carfax is considered the gold standard when it comes to vehicle history reports. You'll see a lot of dealerships advertising a Carfax buyback guarantee, or hey, check out our car, it's got a clean Carfax. But one of the last things I stated in my previous video was this. A Carfax or any other VIN report is not a surefire way to tell whether a car was in an accident or had some other damage. The best way to do that is have yourself or a trusted mechanic inspect it, because sometimes these events don't get reported, and if they don't, they're not going to show up on a vehicle history report. And it's imperative for you to understand that a lot of incidences that can happen to a car, the ones that you would likely want to know about, might never ever be reported. And if they're not reported, they're not going to show up in a Carfax. So a car could have the cleanest Carfax history report, but it doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't damaged or had some other sort of problem with it, whether it was a lemon or many other different things. To understand why an important historical event might not show up in a Carfax report, you first need to understand how a Carfax report works. Now, a Carfax report reports a lot of different things. It shows how many owners a vehicle might have had, and that's a guesstimation. It will show you if the car was ever a taxi or if it was a rental car. Because of the way it was registered, they can figure out, okay, if it was registered to, let's say, Hertz or Budget, then likely that car was used as a rental car. It can show you whether a car was in an accident, whether it was totaled out, whether it was stolen and then recovered later. All of these historical events are reported by different agencies, and Carfax takes them from those agencies and publishes them in that report. Now, the way it works, and we'll use an accident because that's what most people are most interested in. If you get into an accident, there's several things that can follow from there. Hopefully it's a less severe accident where both parties are able to get out of the car and communicate with each other and exchange information. Sometimes a police officer shows up to the scene of an accident. You could call one, or somebody, a bystander, might just go ahead and call one for you. And sometimes you just exchange your information and go. Well, if a police officer shows up, an accident report is then filed. And that almost 100% of the time is going to show up in a vehicle history report. That will go through either the county or the state as an accident report. It will give you the location of the accident, the posted speed limit. It will tell you via the parties involved what the officer thinks occurred, where the damage is, how heavy the damage is, whether an airbag deployed or not. There's a lot of different things that go into an accident report. Now, if your police officer doesn't show up, that's never filed. And that is most likely the reason why an accident would not show up on a vehicle history report. Mind you, there might be some sort of rare situation where it doesn't show up, but again, in my experience, if a police officer shows up, you're going to have an accident history report on your vehicle and on the Carfax. Now, if you don't call a police officer, or it's just a minor fender bender and you go on your way, there will be no accident report generated. And then if you take it to a collision center, I've never personally seen a collision center report repair damage that they repair in an accident. Likely, if you take it to a collision center, and especially if you pay out of pocket, it's not going to show up. Now, if you call insurance and file an accident report, sometimes that will then show up. But again, usually I've never seen it. I just usually see insurance cut a check, and there may be an insurance record on it where they pay for a repair. But generally, you're not going to see an accident on the Carfax unless a police officer shows up. Now, if we take a look at the Carfax report of my rebuilt Audi S3, I bought it salvage and I completely rebuilt it. You can see here, there's actually no accident report on this car. So basically, the car was involved in some sort of accident, was likely towed away from the scene, and that was the end of it. It went to the insurance company. When the insurance company deemed the car a total loss and paid for it, that's when the title got branded a salvage title, and the insurance company deemed it a total loss. That was reported. If the car is deemed a total loss, that is always going to be reported, and it's going to show up in your Carfax. But again, I'm showing you this because there's no accident actually reported on the Carfax. So say that the individual just wanted to kind of fix up the car and trade it in. That car would have held a clean Carfax report, even though it was involved in an accident that did total out the vehicle. Now, that's a really odd situation. It obviously didn't happen like that, and the person had insurance, and they utilized their insurance. So it would make no sense for him to go and try and repair the car. But in a lot of scenarios with older cars getting into minor fender benders, since the car isn't worth a lot, they'll total those cars out, and you'll see a lot of people try and get away from the scene of the accident as quick as possible with no police. And this isn't illegal as long as they're exchanging information with the people they're involved in, but they just go and get the car fixed up. And again, the insurance company would have absolutely totaled the vehicle because it wasn't worth a lot, but they just get it fixed up and they keep driving it, or they go and trade it in because they took it upon themselves to repair the car and pay for the damages. So those are a few different situations as far as accidents go. One of the other big questions I was getting in that video was, how can a car be deemed a total loss from the insurance company and still hold a clear title? And the best explanation for that usually comes with a car that was stolen and recovered several months or even years later. So if a car is stolen today and the car's got a value of $20,000 and they don't recover it for so many days, there's usually a cutoff date when if the local authorities and the insurance company don't recover the car in a certain period of time, they owe you a new car, so they'll write you a check. Now maybe that car was stolen and resold or used by the person that stole it for a while, and they end up recovering it a year later. Well, if they recover the car and it's still in okay condition, it might not get totaled because it really isn't damaged. What they'll do is they'll sell it at auction. It will show that it was a total loss at one time. And all the total loss means is that insurance wrote a check for the entire vehicle. The car will still have a clean title, but on the Carfax report, it will show this car was deemed a total loss by the insurance company, most likely due to theft. Now, every single situation is different, and there's a lot of different reasons things might not show up on history reports. But those few scenarios I gave you previously are going to be the majority of the reasons negative instances don't show up on a vehicle history report. Now, with all this being said, it's imperative that you understand just because a car has a clean Carfax doesn't mean that it's mechanically well, was never in an accident, or had some other scenario happen in the past that was just never reported. Now, to give you an example of a car that was obviously in an accident but shows no sign of that on its vehicle history report, we'll take a look at this 2017 Toyota Corolla. Clearly, it was in an accident in the front end here. It's damaged up pretty good. However, it does run and drive. Doesn't look like anything that couldn't be fixed. I don't see any airbags deployed in the cabin either. But, this front support is pretty mangled. Looks like you might need a new radiator support and some front end body panels. It has a clean certificate of title, and it's for sale by Hertz. This is pretty common among rental car agencies to sell a car that was in a fender bender instead of going through insurance, getting it fixed, re-renting it out, or selling it. They usually just send these cars straight to auction. So what we'll do to confirm that is we'll take the VIN number here. We're going to go to research.com. I've already pulled it up, and here you go. It's got a green check mark. Now, if you haven't seen research.com, please do watch the video above. It shows you how to use research.com in conjunction with mycarfax.com, and you'll be able to pull Carfax-like history reports for absolutely free. And so we can go through here and look, and there's absolutely nothing on this report that shows any accidents. If you look, there's a green check. Your vehicle checks out. There have been no accident records reported. No accident records doesn't mean no accident. And it doesn't even show that there's a rental record on it. That's why it's always imperative for you to physically check out a car before actually purchasing it. If you have any questions about this discussion, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can either reach me via Instagram or email. Everything is in the description box below. Also, feel free to leave a comment and join the discussion. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel for more videos just like this one, and also hit that like button if you feel that you learned something. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you very soon.